It is very important, I feel, for people of India to realize that we are at a cusp. We are at a cusp that the people can decide, do we want to head the way that Russia has headed, where the entire opposition is being imprisoned, a leading opposition figure died within prison, and today there's no opposition left, there's only one party who gets 90% of the votes. Or do you want a thriving democracy where opposition has equal rights to campaign, to make sure that they fight elections fairly, and where it is not BJP's ED and BJP CBI, it is the Government of India's ED and Government of India's CBI. The reality is that Aam Aadmi Party today is the third largest party in terms of, it's a national party. It's the only, after BJP and Congress, it is the only large party and a party which has a government in 2 states. We have MLAs in 2 more states. And there are many other parts of the country where we have a very active organization. We are fighting as part of India Alliance in Assam also and in Haryana also. So yes, BJP, you have to give it to their foresight that they know sooner or later Arvind Kejriwal is going to be the man who can challenge and take down Modi. Now, if that was going to happen 5 years later, probably BJP has invited upon itself that this could happen maybe even much earlier than that. See, an idea here is not Arvind Kejriwal. If you look at it, the top 4 leaders of a national party have been imprisoned. Arvind Kejriwal, Manish Sisodia, Sanjay Singh, Satyendra Jain.
Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has now been behind bars in the ED's custody for the last 8 to 9 days. The arrest is real, the mood is grim, and of course the mahal is really, really garam given that it's an election year. I have with me Jasmine Shah, AAP national spokesperson. Jasmine, how's the party coping?
See, it is definitely something which we did not expect the dictatorial regime of the current BJP government to fall down to or stoop down to. But given that they have now gone to this extent, what it has done, unfortunately for the BJP, is that it has united not just the entire cadre of Aam Aadmi Party, but large sections of the public, which were not even traditional Aam Aadmi Party voters, are today gravitating towards Aam Aadmi Party. These were people who voted for Mr. Modi in 2014 and 19. And the feeling was that, people had given Mr. Modi a chance to govern. They voted him to power to do things that can take the country forward. But the manner in which today, they have weaponized institutions like ED, CBI, and they are completely framing all opposition leaders. The entire attempt seems to be to jail people in opposition, to cut their bank accounts, and somehow prevent fighting them on a free and fair ground in the electoral battle, which is what democracy is all about. So that is what I think BJP did not, I think they've terribly miscalculated this entire move that has been taken. And I say BJP and not ED because clearly what seems to be happening within ED and CBI seems to be dictated out of BJP headquarters.
There are counters and there are allegations and there are counter allegations coming from your end, which we understand and which we will come to, we'll discuss at one level. But do you feel that at this point, where you're standing today, you're preparing for a Maha rally in a couple of days, where the entire India Alliance is going to come together. Do you think, A, the India Alliance is doing enough and they are standing by Kejriwal? B, do you feel that Kejriwal's arrest is going to be that one gravitating factor for the India Alliance to actually come together for 2024? I do not even see this question in the same way because India Alliance is a reality. We are no longer waiting for India Alliance to come together. Yes, but there have been a lot of problems over seat sharing. Again, there's going to be a problem over who's going to be the PM face. That's going to happen in the next couple of months.
Let me first of all state that the scale at which the India Alliance has been formed has never happened in our country. Okay. Disparate parties, 26 leading parties of the country, not small parties. I mean, NDA calls itself as a coalition of 40 parties. If you ask about which are the parties after BJP and maybe JDU, they can't name, right? So these are huge, big parties, probably, 10, 15 sitting chief ministers in the country. And it's the first time many of them have come together. Yes, it took time for seat sharing. It took time for, working out arrangement to work as an alliance together. But today, India Alliance is a reality. Despite all the calls being made by BJP that Aam Aadmi Party and Congress can never sit together, the twain shall never meet, The reality is that today we have a successful seat sharing arrangement in Delhi, in Gujarat, in Haryana, and we are fighting elections all over the country as a united force, barring one or two states where talks is not concluded. But the reality now is that the alliance is fighting together. The Maha rally that is happening on the 31st of March at the historic Ramlila Maidan is going to see every single leader of the India alliance stand shoulder to shoulder, and that's the big message for the people of the country, that the opposition is united against this dictatorial regime.
Do you think that Kejriwal's arrest has contributed to this unity?
I would say that it has made the need for India alliance to stick together feel stronger and stronger. I would not say that the India alliance was a loose force and it has now come together because of Kejriwal. In some sense, it defines that why the India alliance should have existed in the first place. It was since 1 year back that all these parties decided to come together. Why? Because we are saying that it is a fight for democracy. It is a fight for the soul of India. Today you have a regime that is abusing any and every power at its hands to decimate the opposition. And what happens after that? You are seeing one sitting chief minister, Hemant Soren, is being put behind bars. He resigned before being jailed. You're seeing another sitting chief minister now, Mr. Kejriwal, who has been put behind bars. You are seeing humongous tax notices being issued on Congress. You're seeing their bank accounts being frozen, and national, international, the entire buzz about Indian elections is not about, what is the agenda, what is the narrative. The entire buzz and talk nationally and internationally is that, is this going to be a free and fair elections? Because these kinds of incidents have never happened in India's history.
All right. You have said that, you started your answer by saying that you were shocked by Kejriwal's arrest. BJP says that there were 9 summons that were given which were not answered by the chief minister, and therefore the ED had no choice but to go ahead and arrest him. And they claim now the ED's in court they said that he's being evasive in his answers. What would you like to say to that, and then we can talk about the charges?
See, first of all, it is a factually incorrect narrative, because the Chief Minister of Delhi, Mr. Kejriwal, did respond to the summons issued by ED. He did not show up for the investigation in response to the summons. Every summons was responded to, and very elaborate responses and questions were asked as to under what law and under what authority is the ED asking the CM to appear. And many questions were asked. Am I being called as a suspect, as a witness? I'll complete.
Give these answers to?
Yes. So ED has never responded to. So think about this. ED writes to a sitting chief minister. The sitting chief minister responds, every response is maybe 4 to 5 pages. Lot of legal questions are, see, as a sitting CM, he also has legal rights. The ED is not above constitution. So if I feel an investigative agency is unfair towards me and I am asking you questions, ED does not bother to respond. It responds to the letter of Mr. Kejriwal by another summons. And what happens eventually? Because Mr. Kejriwal questioned the legality of ED's summons, it is ED that goes to the court and says that, please tell Mr. Kejriwal to appear in front of me. What does the court do? The court does not give relief to ED. Court says, no, Mr. Kejriwal has raised important legal questions and therefore now I'll hear the matter. You have come to me, I'll hear the matter and post the matter in April. Similarly, in the High Court, when Mr. Kejriwal went and said that, look, ED has been giving me illegal summons, the High Court also takes notice of the writ petition of Mr. Kejriwal and issues notice to ED. So ED, rather than waiting for court, see, now the question is, which is larger, ED is larger or court is larger? Because the court have said that, look, I am going to decide on the matter of legality of your summons. But somewhere ED felt that, you know what, अब हम फंस गए हैं, अब हम कोर्ट के पास खुद गए. They thought that the court will immediately jump and say that, "Nay, Mr. Kejriwal, show up to ED office tomorrow." Court said, "No, there is prima facie, it seems to be, there is a case being made out by Mr. Kejriwal." And therefore, it is ED who precipitates action. They do not want to play the waiting game. They know the elections have been announced. This is the time to put Mr. Kejriwal behind jail, and therefore, I think the illegality and the unconstitutionality of the action of the ED is now today in front of everyone.
You're now running a WhatsApp campaign. You are now obviously hitting the streets. You're doing press conferences every day. You're saying that you don't trust the ED, you don't trust the BJP, but you trust the legal system, right? So why do you want to decide things in the court of public opinion?
No, see, we are a democracy. Let's not demean the value of, protesting on the streets by conveying your point, your narrative to the public. Why should it be that BJP has all rights to run a WhatsApp university, to threaten media, to threaten every channels and means of communication that reaches the public, and the opposition doesn't? So I think it's not fair to ask, why is Aam Aadmi Party taking its message to the public? It is very important, I feel, for people of India to realize that we are at a cusp. We are at a cusp that the people can decide, do we want to head the way that Russia has headed, where the entire opposition is being imprisoned, a leading opposition figure died within prison, and today there's no opposition left, there's only one party who gets 90% of the votes? Or do you want a thriving democracy where opposition has equal rights to campaign, to make sure that they fight elections fairly, and where it is not BJP's ED and BJP CBI, it is the Government of India's ED and Government of India's CBI, and they work in an independent manner? And see, data is overwhelming. Today, if we are claiming that ED and CBI have become political weapons, you look at the data. Since 2014, since Modi ji became the Prime Minister, 95% of cases by ED and CBI have only been on opposition leaders, number one. It has never happened in the history of our country that 95% of the action and the effort of institutions are only on opposition. Number two, the moment these opposition leaders change over, turn into BJP, ally with BJP, or, through the washing machine of BJP come and join their government, the cases get dropped. Just yesterday, we are seeing a case, an instance, Mr. Praful Patel, his Ajit Pawar group of NCP, the moment they aligned with the BJP, there were two very serious cases. One was a civil aviation scam of Mr. Praful Patel, and second was another ED-related investigation, with some underworld links and stuff. Now, the CBI case yesterday was shut down. He's been given a clean sheet, and not a single summons is issued to any of those leaders the moment they join. So it's very clear. On one side, you're trying to completely demolish the opposition, and the other hand, you are inciting them and you're threatening them that join us, otherwise, XYZ.
You speak to the BJP, they will say that Kejriwal is too insignificant for on the national scale of things, as far as the BJP is concerned. We have the lion's share of votes in any case. So why would we go after Kejriwal like this? I mean, if we had to, the real threat is coming from, let's say, states like Tamil Nadu or Andhra, where frankly, they've not really targeted big opposition leaders, the leaders of their party.
It doesn't really matter what BJP says, because the reality is that Aam Aadmi Party today is the third largest party in terms of, it's a national party. It's the only, after BJP and Congress, it is the only large party, and a party which has a government in 2 states. We have MLAs in 2 more states. And there are many other parts of the country where we have a very active organization. We are fighting as part of India Alliance in Assam also, and in Haryana also. So yes, BJP, you have to give it to their foresight that they know sooner or later Arvind Kejriwal is going to be the man who can challenge and take down Modi. Now, if that was going to happen 5 years later, probably BJP has invited upon itself that this could happen maybe even much earlier than that. Because by arresting a sitting chief minister, and it's not about arresting, because CM also is under, the law of the country. But the manner of arrest, you have arrested a sitting chief minister in a fake scam, where for 2 years you've been investigating, 500 raids have happened, not a single money or money trail has been recovered from any leader or person from Aam Aadmi Party. In fact, money trail has now reached the BJP's bank accounts. But what do? You see, an idea here is not Arvind Kejriwal. If you look at it, the top 4 leaders of a national party have been imprisoned. Arvind Kejriwal, Manish Sisodia, Sanjay Singh, Satyendra Jain, and many other smaller leaders. It has never happened in our history. It's not that you have finished trial and you've gotten a conviction. A trial has not even started in this so-called Delhi liquor scam. Is there any parallel in the world where you have, in a respectful democracy, the entire opposition is put behind bars in a matter where the investigation is not even completed, trial is not even begun?
I come back to my question about you not trusting the BJP, you not trusting the ED. But you trust the legal system,
absolutely,
right? But it's the same legal system which has refused time and again, which has refused to give bail to a Manish Sisodia, for instance.
Yeah.
How would you explain that?
See, I'm glad you asked this question, because BJP has created the circumstances by which they can put all these opposition leaders in jail in a perfectly legal way. Just because something is legal doesn't mean something is correct. Okay? And I think this is an important distinction to make. As a police, you can announce curfew in any part of the country. But what happens if you keep announcing curfew at all points in time? It's legal, it's your right, but it is wrong. It is against democratic principles. What has happened in this case is BJP in 2018 has amended the law, the PMLA, the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. In a sense, it has made it one of the most draconian laws in India and perhaps in the world. Now, this law was originally created to fight terrorism, to fight narcotics. And therefore, the legal principle which has stood the test of times that, if I accuse you tomorrow, you are innocent until the court proves you guilty. That is how the entire judicial system works. But laws which are to fight terrorists, to fight drug smugglers, there the bar is very high and therefore the law turns on its head. And you are guilty. The moment I accuse you as an investigative agency, you are guilty until the trial is completed and you prove yourself to be innocent. But what has BJP done? It amended the PMLA, made it draconian. It increased the ambit that today nobody knows whether PMLA has ever been used to fight a terrorist or a drug smuggler. PMLA today and ED is known for only going after politicians. I mean, I'm sure you will also agree. So you have created a law. You created a mechanism where you can legitimately put people behind jail, and even the courts have to follow the law.
You said Kejriwal, the allegations that the ED is made. You're saying the money trail is not established in this case. ED says they have proof, they have people, they want to bring him face to face with people who are also arrested, who are part of this money laundering blame game, and they want to bring Kejriwal face to face with them because he's being evasive in his answers. How would you respond to that?
Okay, I think let's unravel this entire so-called Delhi liquor scam in a very simple manner for your viewers. What is the Delhi liquor scam? The allegation that was made by BJP is that under the Delhi liquor policy, excise policy, private liquor businessmen opened shops in Delhi. They amassed profits, and those profits were given to a political party. They are alleging that this political party is Aam Aadmi Party.
Right.
Over the last 2 years, 500 raids have happened. 1,000 witnesses have been summoned together by CBI and ED. I think half of ED and CBI in the country has only been pursuing this particular matter. Houses of all our leaders, Manish Sisodia, Arvind Kejriwal, all have been raided. Not a single evidence. So why are these people behind bars? They are behind bars because of a very interesting species in our law called government approvers. These are people who were arrested by ED and CBI and later have given statements, incriminating statements against AAP leaders, and on the basis of these statements alone, these people have been put behind jail.
But approvers are there in every legal system.
It is, absolutely. Right. And the bar for taking the approver statement at face value is very high. It doesn't happen. Approver statement has to be corroborated with some evidence, which as on date, it doesn't exist. Now, I will give you a very plain and simple example of one approver because, and this guy's name is Sharat Chandra Reddy. It was on his statement primarily that Mr. Arvind Kejriwal was arrested. And I think if you understand who is this chap and how come this statement was used, you will understand the entire conspiracy behind this so-called liquor scam. Sharat Chandra Reddy was one of the big beneficiaries of liquor licenses. He opened shops and through a tendering process. Now, on November 10th, 2022, Sharat Chandra Reddy gets raided. And ED raids him and asks him a question, have you met Mr. Kejriwal? He says, I do not know Mr. Kejriwal personally and I have never met him. ED says, no, I think you know him and therefore I'll arrest you. Sharat Chandra Reddy is arrested on 10th November 2022. What happens after that? And some of these facts have come to public only now. This is the money trail between Sharat Chandra Reddy and BJP. Okay? On 15th November 2022, Sharat Chandra Reddy's company, Aurobindo Pharma, gives 5 crores electoral bonds donations to the BJP. Fast forward to January, ED files a charge sheet and calls Sharat Reddy as the kingpin of the South lobby or who's engineered and who's passed all this money. In January of the same month, Sharat Chandra Reddy approaches the court and says that, look, it's been 2 months since he's still arrested. For 2 months I've been in jail and ED is pressurizing me. They are pushing me to sign pre-dictated statement. This is all there in public record. He doesn't get bail. Another 4 months elapse. Now it's 6 months that this man is been in jail. He breaks down and he gives a statement. So far, he has given 6 statements. In all of these, he says, I do not know Kejriwal, I have nothing to do with him. Finally, after 6 months of jail, he says, look, I now remember that I met Kejriwal and I spoke to him about Delhi excise policy and stuff. What happens as a reward, immediately a few days after that, his bail application is not opposed. He actually goes asking for bail on a back pain. You know, ED, the bar for medical grounds for bail is very high. He says, नहीं मेरे पीठ में दर्द है. And ED says, नहीं नहीं इसके तो पीठ में दर्द है, इसको bail मिलनी चाहिए. And a few days after that, he becomes a government approver. What does he do? He gives an incriminating statement against Kejriwal. The story doesn't end there. A few months down the line, on 8th November 2023, on a single day, 3 companies related to Sharath Reddy give 50 crores rupees to BJP. So, total 55 crores given to BJP by the so-called kingpin of the Delhi liquor scam. After that, he was arrested. So, if you arrested, called in kingpin means he has money laundering का पैसा, right? उसके पास money laundering का पैसा है. पैसा कहाँ जाता है? BJP के account में जाता है. Just think yourself, and I'll ask your viewers that if any of this money after Sharath Chandra Reddy arrest had reached Aam Aadmi Party, you would have jumped to the conclusion that look, here's the money trail. But if the money trail has gone to BJP, what does it show? It shows that this entire thing is a framing exercise. On one side, through ED, BJP has tried to finish off Aam Aadmi Party, arrest all its leaders. And second, aapne vasuli kari. You run an extortion racket. You pressurized all these businessmen to extract statements, but at the same time, channel funds into your own bank account.
All right. Both sides, frankly, could be true.
No, where is the evidence for the other side?
Exactly. Where is the evidence for the, which is what I was coming to. Where is the evidence now will be presented in court, whatever ED has or does not have as per you. The evidence will be presented in court, and I think the viewers will have to decide for themselves, because this is an election year. It's a lot of, there's a lot of excitement on one end, but there's also a lot of political sargarmi jise kehte hain, that is happening, and it's you, the viewer, who will have to decide, because counter allegations and allegations are really flying thick and fast. And in this case, the Aam Aadmi Party calling ED almost like an extortionist for the government.
It is the reality. These are all facts, by the way. These are not allegations.
Right, absolutely. But those are facts on a piece of paper. I am not an investigator, and neither am I a judge.
Your viewers should go to Election Commission of India website and look for Aurobindo Pharma and whose money they gave to. I'm telling them, this is all there in public domain.
Right. And the fact is that on the other side, while this is also true, the other side is also true that the ED has said that they do have conclusive proof against Kejriwal. Of course, they're going to present it to the court, and then we're going to see how conclusive that proof is. Thank you, viewers, for joining this broadcast. Thank you for giving us this time. I think under the bright lights, we are all sweating now, but thank you so much for joining us and sharing all these things with us.
Thank you very much.